Finn, Stella. On the day I got engaged to Bay City tycoon Julian Gu, my boyfriend died. 3 years later, I stood on the Best Actress award podium. The host asked me, "Who is the beloved you wish to thank? Is it Mr. Gu?" I shook my head with a smile and said, "His name is Shancia, who left me 3 years ago." Facing countless camera flashes, I was earnest and stubborn. "Shancia, if you're watching me, come find me." Netizens all said I was crazy, asking a dead man to come find me. Isn't that like seeking death? But still, I hope the world has one more miracle. "Shancia, if you're watching me, come find me." After I said this, everyone at the awards ceremony fell silent for a moment. Perhaps my expression was too earnest, leaving the host at a loss for words to interact with me. In the end, the host gave a dry laugh. As everyone knows, Best Actress Sophie's award winning work this time is Farewell, My Love, where the male lead indeed died young and met a tragic end. It seems our Best Actress Sophie is still deeply immersed in her role, showcasing her acting skills even now. Truly effortless and truly admirable. Let's give her a round of applause. Thunderous applause gradually filled the venue. I offered no further explanation. After all, my words weren't meant for them. Holding up my floor, sweeping gown, and clutching the heavy trophy, I descended the stage step by step, bathed in countless admiring or envious gazes. I felt surprisingly at ease. Unlike the arduous journey here, where every step had been a struggle, I passed by Julian Gu, locking eyes with him briefly. His expression was calm, his demeanor composed. His thin lips parted slightly. "Congratulations." I nodded in response. "Thank you." Though I'd already thanked him during my acceptance speech, but it never feels like enough. I returned to my seat, running my fingers over the trophy. My thoughts had already drifted away from the award ceremony. After the ceremony, there was a banquet. Many investors and celebrities would be attending. It was both a celebration for the winners and an opportunity for stars to pave their own paths. Julian Gu gave me a ride there on his way. After entering the banquet hall, I deliberately separated from them. Avoiding the crowd, I slipped away to the quieter back garden. I set the champagne down casually by the flower bed and scrolled through Trending Now. News of my award was undoubtedly at the top of the list, tagged with a fiery red #viral. Right behind it was a trending topic discussing whether the new Best Actress's mental state was stable, also marked with a blazing #viral. Netizens analyzed it with convincing arguments. Was her ex, fiancé, being gay what drove Sophie so insane? "Sis, take a break. Your current state seems dangerous." Dangerous indeed, to the point of wanting to see ghosts. Seriously laughed out loud. How could Sophie Sue have the nerve to talk about her struggles in her acceptance speech? Gu Corporation practically piled all their resources on her. Isn't that why she didn't break things off with Julian Gu and accepted as one man arrangement? If she can accept a bisexual, the world really is one giant Edinburgh. Some keyboard warriors just spew rumors about women with a tap of their fingers, ready to ruin someone's life. Have you not seen how hard Sophie has worked these past 3 years? Am I the only one curious about who Shancia is? It reminds me of an old acquaintance, a singer I once hired for my bar. He played the guitar incredibly well, always wore a mask, and I never saw his face. Curious my foot. 3 years ago, Sophie Sue was just AD, list actress. How famous could her connections be? She just drops vague hints at the award ceremony to spark curiosity and grab attention online. They've really mastered playing the internet game. Fame attracts trouble. Aside from my career fans congratulating me, there are countless paid shills trashing me. Truth or lies, no one can tell except the person involved. But it's true that Shancia once worked as a singer in a bar. Shancia and I were left at the orphanage entrance on the same day. So, our birthdays were set for the same day too. Maybe that's why Sean has always protected me since we were kids. If anyone bullied me at the orphanage, he'd get back at them. He never backed down, even when outnumbered. All the kids called him the crazy boy. No one would play with us. Later in school, my grades were excellent, while his were poor. I became the top student in the eyes of my classmates, and he became the school bully. He would keep his distance from me, urging me to focus on my studies. But if anyone harassed me or confessed their feelings to me, he would confront them outside, first with words, and if that didn't work, with his fists, making sure no young boys dared to approach me. The girls would say I was being haunted by a male ghost and warn me not to fall into ruin. I would just smile softly and tell them, Shancia is a good person. No one believed me, because Shancia was always covered in mottled scars. He even dyed his hair blonde. He looked every bit the troublemaker. During high school, when it was time to pay tuition, Shancia dropped out. As a minor, he could only find work in sweatshops, earning meager wages. The money Shancia earned had to cover my tuition, living expenses, and his own survival. Those were incredibly tough times. I studied day and night, just to rank first, to earn scholarships and grants, to ease Shancia's burden. But truthfully, I never wanted to go to school. I wanted to act, to become a household name. But Sean disagreed. He allowed me to do anything, but only after finishing college. He said, I'll support you for a lifetime, but first, you must gain enough knowledge, broaden your horizons, then chase your dreams. On my 18th birthday, during freshman year, I confessed to Shancia. He didn't want to agree at first, saying I'd meet better people in the future, but he couldn't resist my tears. We were together for 4 years. I thought it would last a lifetime, but his lifetime was only 23 years long. Right after graduation, I stepped into the entertainment industry. Sean bought a guitar, taught himself, and started performing at a bar. He said, when you become a leading actress someday, I'll record the theme song for you. I never became a leading actress. I only played a minor maid role, with just 3 lines of dialogue, and then it wrapped. The day it wrapped was also Shancia's and my birthday. He said he'd come find me to celebrate the wrap and our birthdays. He bought a big cake and a bouquet of gardenias. While crossing on a green light, he was hit by a drunk driver, then run over from the legs up. The cake and flowers were shattered. My Shancia was shattered too. That was when I met Julian Gu. He was the CEO of my company. As AD, list celebrity, I normally had no chance of meeting him, but because Sean had a rare blood type and, by chance, his heart was undamaged, Julian Gu sought me out. He needed Sean's heart at any cost. And so began the story of my engagement to Julian Gu. It was Sean's last wish, for me to have both a lofty status and a bright future. Sadly, I didn't fulfill that either. It seems in this life, I've never done a single thing for Shancia. Years of suppressed emotions have fermented, transforming into a soft thorn lodged in my heart. It aches with every stir. Day and night, I prayed, hoping deities existed in the heavens, that they might bring Shancia back to me. Netizens say I've gone mad. I never deny it. I've witnessed a miracle. Right beside Julian Gu, his lover was the one who needed Shancia's heart. They stopped breathing on the same day. Yet he was reborn in another. That is a miracle. I hope a miracle might grace me just once, taking a step back. If madness could reunite me with Shancia, I'd gladly be incurably ill. A clamor of noise snapped me out of my reverie. It was a few minor celebrities. I didn't recognize them, but they looked somewhat familiar. Probably stars from the same agency. There must be something shady about the Golden Lion Awards. So many veteran actors present. Yet, Sophie Su took the prize? What tricks did she use to win Mr. Gu's favor like this? Tisich, if I knew how, would she even be the best actress? She's not even prettier than me. And that dead ex-boyfriend of hers probably made up, right? Knowing netizens love tragic love stories, she deliberately fabricated a non-existent person, so calculated. I lowered my eyelids and sighed inwardly. I was just about to stand up and give them a scare, when someone suddenly scoffed. Then, why don't you go seduce Julian Gu? Is it because you don't want to? With that long face of yours, who even knows how many surgeries you had? It's definitely beautiful. I mean, the plastic surgeon's skills. Instead of honing your acting, you gossip behind people's backs all day. Aren't you ashamed? You're disturbing my moonbathing. Get lost. The voice was low, laced with cold mockery. Unfamiliar. Who are you? What right do you have to tell us to get lost? Just a cripple, and you dare look down on me? I stepped out from behind the flower bushes and locked eyes with those minor celebrities. They froze for a moment when they saw me. They exchanged awkward glances before greeting me respectfully. They scurried away in embarrassment. The wheelchair creaked softly as it moved. That person kept their head down, silently preparing to leave as well. I didn't stop them. I only whispered a quiet thank you. The wheelchair paused briefly before continuing to move away. Weren't we supposed to enjoy the moonlight? I looked up at the sky. The moon happened to be perfectly full. I actually knew that person too. Ethan Sheen, the illegitimate son of the Sheen family. A year ago, he was in a car accident during a power struggle. He remained in a vegetative state for half a year before waking up. After 3 months of rehabilitation, his legs still couldn't support him. He then laid low for another 3 months before crushing his half-brother and taking control of Sheen Industries. His methods were ruthless and decisive, not someone I should ever cross. Julian Gu had specifically warned me not to get involved with Sheen Industries. Ethan Sheen has a volatile and unpredictable temperament, dealing harshly with anyone who displeases him. He's also a rival of Gu Corporation, which might pose a threat to me. Fortunately, I have no connections with the Sheen family, but he doesn't seem that bad. He was just speaking up for me earlier. Could it be that he also enjoys watching the dramas I star in? At this thought, I couldn't help but smile. What CEO has nothing better to do than watch TV shows? Except for Julian Gu, with time to spare. He always watches the shows his beloved acts in. The acting is terribly poor, yet Julian Gu still praises it as wonderful against his better judgment. How nice. I'm so envious. I also wish my beloved would watch my dramas with me and compliment my acting. Julian Gu calls me. Where are you? In the garden. Are you alright? I'm fine. Have you seen anyone who looks like Shancia? I grew still. My heartstrings pulled taut. Gazing at the full moon overhead, I let out a helpless laugh. 3 years, and he never came looking for me. Julian Gu. Should I just give up? Julian Gu said nothing, silently ending the call. A few minutes later, he arrived at the back garden with Ryan Won. He stood aside, taking a phone call. Ryan Won walked over to me with a cold expression, plunking himself down on the edge of the flower bed. We sat in silence for a long while. Then he finally spoke. Sophie Sue, do you remember when we did that variety show together? It was over a month after Shancia passed away. 3 years ago. I took any gig I could get, just to survive, trying to keep myself busy, to numb the grief. Back then, I signed up for a dating game reality show. That's where I met Ryan Won, Julian Gu, back from the dead as someone else's lover. Both of us were D-list nobodies, but he gained a ton of fans through his gaming streams. On the show, though, he seemed cold and had a terrible temper, but he took very good care of me. Perhaps I had been lost in thought for too long. Ryan Won extended a finger and poked me gently. Back then, I wanted to avoid Julian Gu because I felt like a burden. I couldn't stand in Julian Gu's way and keep him from finding happiness. If he hadn't recognized me, I might never have sought him out on my own. Loving someone takes courage, and so does being loved. Would Shancia think the same way? His voice was cool in tone, yet warm in essence, like a mountain spring, flowing from my ears into my heart. As I listened, it welled up and spilled from my eyes. I looked at them, somewhat bewildered, but I've already risen so high, and I've told the whole world I'm waiting for him. If he's alive and still doesn't come to me, what more can I do? I don't know anymore. My arms and hands trembled lightly. My throat tightened. My words came out in broken fragments. Ryan Won grasped my wrist and slowly poured the chilled liquor from the glass onto the back of my hand. The cold stung my skin, yet I didn't pull away. Gradually, I realized I still had senses. I could still feel cold, heat, and pain. Watching the crimson liquid form a continuous stream, it looked like blood to me. My thoughts snapped into sharp clarity. I jerked my head up and asked Julian Gu, do you have any other way? A way to confirm whether Shancia is still alive. After finishing his call, Julian Gu placed a hand on Ryan Won's shoulder. He glanced down at me briefly before looking away, his gaze fixed on Ryan Won. There is one, but it depends if you're willing. I took the tissue Ryan handed me and dried my hand. What is it? Julian Gu furrowed his brow and rubbed the bridge of his nose. He said reluctantly, "Get engaged to me again." Ryan burst into laughter, pointing at his own face. He boasted, "My idea, pretty brilliant. Huh? Didn't Xia forbid Julian Gu from falling for you before he died? Let's do the exact opposite. If he's reincarnated and still cares about you, he won't actually let a gay man marry you." My eyes widened slowly. I grasped Ryan Wen's hand. "Sis, are you some kind of genius?" Ryan Wen's mouth twitched downward as he pulled his hand away, snorted coldly, "Get lost. Who's your sis?" Growing impatient, I stood up and paced a couple of circles. After stopping, I urged Julian Gu, "No time to waste. Let's get engaged tomorrow, shall we?" A vein throbbed on Julian Gu's forehead. "Too fast. Even a fool would see something's off. Use your acting skills. Let's first play out a reunion. After, breakup scenario. Anyway, netizens believe every rumor. They'll help write the script for us." So, Julian Gu started frequently mentioning me in interviews, hinting to the media that we had an affair. While I was filming on set, he often dropped by to visit. We were constantly trending every other day. Since our engagement fell through 3 years ago, there was already plenty of gossip circulating online. When the rumors suddenly broke out, netizens swarmed like melon, hungry fans catching a whiff of drama. Soon, the rumor about Julian Gu and me rekindling our relationship topped the trending now list. Both Julian Gu and I spent money to boost the hype. Anyone who used the internet couldn't possibly miss this entertainment gossip. Julian Gu's and my DMs exploded. Fans urged me not to act recklessly, saying I'd finally gotten back on my feet and shouldn't become someone's wife of a gay man. Haters called me cheap, so obsessed with rich men that I'd even marry a gay man, and suggested I might as well sleep with them for free. Of course, Julian Gu's DMs were flooded with my fans tearing into him. Plenty of triggered men were also blasting him. We analyzed each and every one of those who cursed at him, and those who tried to persuade me, trying to find any trace of Xia's existence. But there were just too many. Some cursed him, others worried about me. Too many to count. Though I'm a quick learner academically, I'm quite clumsy in daily life. Xia spoiled me rotten. I'm not as sharp as Julian Gu, who could recognize his transformed lover at a glance. Self, blame, guilt, and uncontrollable self-directed rage made my hands tremble even when I clenched my fists. I found the imipramine and swallowed 2 pills with water. Ryan Wen noticed. His eyes filled with concern. "Are you seeing a therapist regularly?" I nodded. "Of course. I still want to live." He breathed a sigh of relief. "That's good. Only by living is there hope." A week later, Julian Gu took me to a banquet. Everyone who toasted him offered congratulations, either openly or subtly. "Congratulations, Mr. Gu, on winning such a beauty. Don't forget to invite us when you get engaged." Julian Gu raised his glass with a faint smile. "Certainly." Midway through the banquet, the lively clinking of glasses paused for a moment. Another person entered through the doorway, seated in a wheelchair, his expression cold and somber. He wheeled up to Julian Gu, not sparing me a single glance. Sneering, he said, "Since when do homosexuals deserve to marry beauties with such fanfare?" "Julian Gu, your audacity knows no bounds." Julian glanced at me, then leaned close to my ear. "May I be a little presumptuous?" I understood and didn't wait for him to act. I proactively linked my arm with his. Smiling sweetly, I said, "Mr. Chin worries too much. I'm here of my own volition. I love him. As long as I can marry him, I'll do whatever he asks of me. Even if it means being a quiet vase at home, I gladly accept it. I cannot live without my beloved." Ethan Chin's hand, resting on the wheelchair, clenched into a tightly controlled fist. His skin was very pale, the kind of pallor that comes from years without sunlight. The veins stood out, strikingly visible. It stirred a strange feeling in my heart. Could he be Xia? But the timeline doesn't match up. Ethan Chin still refused to look at me. From the moment I became aware of his presence, I hadn't managed to catch his eye even once. It felt like disdain, or perhaps fear. He played the part of a perfect rival company, solely focused on provoking Julian Gu. It seems Mr. Gu has too much free time on his hands to have such a colorful love life. Perhaps I should give you something to do. Julian Gu neither agreed nor disagreed, a faint smirk curling his lips. Bring it on, Mr. Chin. I just wonder which nerve I hit when Sophie and I got engaged. Ethan Chin's brow furrowed deeply, and he abruptly lowered his head, his messy bangs obscuring his eyes, making his expression unreadable. All that was visible was his tightened throat and jawline, the skin on his neck flushed red. He seemed furious. Sophie, is that your pet name for each other? My heart felt like a heavy stone. At this moment, it finally settled. My name is Sophie Sue, and my fans call themselves Sophies. But in this world, only Sean Xia ever called me Sophie. It was he who told Julian Gu to call me that. Before he died, he used his heart to force Julian Gu to marry me. Later, Julian Gu's lover and Sean Xia died too soon, and the heart transplant never happened. The engagement agreement was voided. In these 3 years, Julian Gu has never called me that. Now, he's doing it deliberately to test Ethan Chin. It's very effective, but my joy lasted only seconds. Ethan Chin said, even we Sophies don't call her that intimately. What gives you the right? My heart skipped a beat. What is it? Could it be that Ethan Chin is just a die-hard fan who staged all this to keep me from becoming a wife of a gay man? Julian Gu was speechless. I was nearly at a loss for words too. A mix of anger and sadness washed over me. I blurted out, what we call each other is none of your business. You don't even dare to look at me. So, what right do you have to question my marriage? Ethan Chin stiffened, hastily turning his wheelchair, presenting his back to me. As your fan, I just don't want to see you throw yourself away. Marrying him won't bring you happiness. Behind his back, I quietly released Julian Gu's arm, asking him in a low voice, then, who should I marry to find happiness? He fell silent. We sat in silence for a long while. The wheelchair glided away, disappearing into the crowd. Countless people waited to flatter him. He smiled calmly, raising his glass in response, downing glass after glass as if the wine cost nothing. Many in the banquet hall were watching the scene, whispering among themselves, what's going on? Are both Ethan Chin and Julian Gu interested in Sophie Sue? Where does she get such charm? She looks sweet. Don't men all like the sweet type? She appears virtuous and family-oriented. Besides, she's a best actress now. Good for promoting the family image, endorsing their products. Actually, quite beneficial in many ways. So envious. Can't you share one with me? Julian Gu was used to being gossiped about. He turned and asked me, are you okay? He and Ryan would always ask me this. My heart was sick. As long as I had no scenes to film, they worried I might do something drastic. I shook my head and responded with a light laugh. I'm fine. I think I found him. Julian Gu. You know, when I was 18, I confessed to Sean Xia. He didn't dare look at me either, though he was the one who lifted me up. He always felt endlessly inferior. Julian Gu scoffed. He's never shown an ounce of inferiority around me. That business banquet had reporters sneaking in. They filmed the confrontation between Ethan Chin and Julian Gu and posted it online. The headline read, Bay City Tycoons Face Off for Love. Where will the new best actress go? Netizens flooded the comments with question marks. Is Sophie Sue really so stunning she could outshine the world? Good grief. Do even CEOs enjoy watching catfight dramas? Julian Gu is one thing. He nearly got engaged to Sophie Sue 3 years ago. But where did this Ethan Chin come from? You're all so out of the loop. Did none of you pay attention to the Chin family's recent change in leadership? Who else gets this damaged? Brooding CEO times Jenel, guiding best actress redemption vibe? Just those two. Wait, what about our Ryan one? He's Julian Gu's rightful partner. Ryan Wynn can't have children. He'll be kicked to the curb sooner or later. Ryan Wynn saw this and pointed at his phone screen, grinning as he showed it to Julian Gu. They say I'm going to be dumped. I'm so embarrassed. I'll hire some paid shills to control the comments. Julian Gu glanced at it and pulled out his own phone. No need to control the comments. The messier, the better. His slender fingers tapped across the screen. Then he turned off his phone and went back to reviewing documents and signing them. Ryan won, and I continued browsing the online reactions. Witness Julian Gu's replies to netizens' comments, and Gu Corporation's simultaneous engagement announcement soared to trending now. Julian Gu V replied to netizen A, Ryan, one can't have children anyway. He'll be dumped sooner or later. Detected your repeated defamation against me and my beloved. A lawyer's letter has been dispatched. Expect delivery. Netizens were baffled. Who exactly is Mr. Gu's beloved? Are we netizens just part of your little game? Scatter. Folks, Gu Corporation's lawyer letters and engagement notices drop simultaneously. No couple photos, no names, just endless my beloved descriptions. Hard not to speculate. Word games. Heh, you've succeeded. I'll wait to see exactly who's engaged to whom. No wonder Gu Corporation's main branch is an entertainment company. They can spin scripted dramas that leave netizens dizzy. June 1st, Children's Day, was the engagement date Julian Gu set. It was also mine and Shancia's birthday, and the anniversary of Shancia's death. Julian Gu had it all planned. On this day, we would first visit the graves of Shancia and Jared Zhu. Jared Zhu was Ryan Wen's former name. He did genuinely die, even after reincarnating into someone else. His grave wasn't dug up, but Julian Gu hasn't visited the memorial in 3 years. This time, it's just for show, to give Shancia a chance to stop this engagement. I'm not very confident. What if he doesn't stop it? Julian Gu shrugged. Then I'll just get engaged to Jared. As for you, face the cameras and say you're depressed from losing your loved one. Saw me, who once helped you, as a lifeline, but don't know how long you can hold on. Didn't want to use me to forget the past, so you backed out last minute. If reporters press you, just tear up, lift your skirt, and run away, preferably to a river or the seaside, somewhere that looks like you might attempt suicide. If Ethan Sheen really is Shancia, and he still refuses to acknowledge it or come save you, then he doesn't deserve you waiting any longer. Don't worry, I'll have PR control the Yulan Dongshang, so not many will see this act, but Ethan Sheen will. My eyelids twitched as I looked at him with admiration. No, all wonder, Mr. Gu is the Bay City tycoon. Could a normal person even conceive such a method? Ryan Wen chimed in, summarizing, Shancia was trapped by the capital. Julian Gu played with Ryan Wen's fingers, smiling without a word. Even if he didn't say it, I knew. Last time we got engaged, when he learned Jared Zhu had already died, he went mad. Even now, he's just a madman wearing human skin, pretending to be normal. If anything were to happen to Ryan Wen again, he would tear off that skin. I think he sees Shancia as a kindred spirit. That's why he came up with this method to provoke Shancia. If Ethan Sheen does nothing, then he isn't Shancia. My Shancia might have truly died 3 years ago. By then, perhaps I really would jump into a river or the sea. Who knows? Half a month later, on June 1st, I wore a floor-length crimson gown, Julian Gu in a custom, tailored suit, and we went to the cemetery together. Ryan Wen did not come with us. He went to the engagement banquet ahead of us. The memorial ceremony proceeded without any incidents. At 10 o'clock, we smoothly headed to the engagement banquet. It was held in a villa. Engagement posters were placed on both sides of the main entrance. Only Julian Gu's name was on the left, and only mine was on the right. The bright red color made the two names appear festive yet oddly isolated. Something fell off, though I couldn't pinpoint what. It just felt incomplete. The hall was filled with guests who paused briefly at the entrance, looking puzzled before being ushered inside. Julian Gu and I walked onto the stage one after the other, just about to speak. His phone rang. He halted and answered the call in front of everyone. He only said one sentence, "Don't touch him." Then, clenching his jaw, he hurriedly pulled me off the stage, not forgetting to explain to me, "Sophie, it's done. I have to go ransom my groom. You're the hostage." As we ran, the corner of my mouth curled up, growing increasingly unrestrained. So, Shancia truly was a madman. He refused to acknowledge who he was, yet sought to prove Julian Gu didn't truly love me. Thus, he kidnapped Ryan Wen. He thought this would stop Julian Gu and me from holding our engagement banquet. In a way, He succeeded, and successfully confirmed for me that Ethan Sheen was Sean Xia. Ryan was gaming at the Sheen residence. When Julian Gu arrived, he pulled him into a tight embrace, causing his character to die in the game. They were arguing. Ethan Sheen still avoided my gaze, glancing at the two instead as he spoke to me. Sophie Su, Julian Gu likes men. He abandoned you once for a man. He'll abandon you countless times. I pivoted on my heel, stepping into his line of sight. Ethan Sheen hastily lowered his head again. I crouched down too, cupping his face with both hands, insisting on meeting his eyes. A scar ran across his left brow, cutting through the corner of his eye. His gaze was dark, gloomy, and lifeless. When looking only at me, his eyes flickered with hesitation and retreat. Perhaps my palm was too cold. He turned his chin, shaking off my hand, hoarsely asking, "Does Best Actress Sophie always treat men this way?" I suddenly realized why I hadn't recognized him at first glance. He wouldn't look at me, so I couldn't see the restraint and love hidden deep in his eyes. I've played countless people, countless devoted roles, but none have ever been complex enough to surpass the contradiction in Sean Xia's gaze when he looked at me. My nose tingled, my vision blurred with tears. Slowly, very slowly, I said, "Yes, this is the second time I've been abandoned. Mr. Sheen, why did you do this?" Ethan Sheen's fingers curled, his long lashes lowered, blocking all emotion in those eyes. Forcing a detached tone, he said, "I just don't want to see an actor I admire end up with the wrong person." I felt somewhat disappointed, directly calling him out. "Sean Xia, do you plan to never acknowledge me?" Ethan Sheen jolted violently, lips pressed tightly together. He asked me, "Who is Sean Xia?" "My name is Ethan Sheen." I took a deep breath and stood up, took a few steps back. "Fine, I won't disturb you then." He watched me leave but made no effort to stop me. This feeling was even harder to bear than the 3 years I spent waiting for him to come find me, knowing full well the one you love is right before you. Yet he refuses to take a single step closer, as if erasing all the affection we shared over more than 20 years. As I reached the door, I could no longer endure the slow, waiting for someone to stop me pace and suddenly broke into a run. I heard Julian Gu say, "Sophie Su has been depressed for 3 years. She cries, she laughs, she takes on role after role without pause. I've tried to get her to rest, but she self-harms. Now, I believe you're not Sean Xia. After all, Sean Xia would never stand by and watch her die." Ethan Sheen was incredulous. "What do you mean, the rest?" I couldn't hear. Playing the victim was always part of our plan. It just took a different form, spoken from someone else's lips. I began to question myself. If Sean Xia didn't want to acknowledge me, why should I force him? At worst, I'd just live alone in the past, chewing on memories. Let Sean Xia move on to a new life. But he never should have chased after me again. The wheelchair rolled forward quickly. His voice grew louder as he called my name. From Sophie Su to Sophie, clearer and clearer. I didn't stop, my hands constantly wiping my cheeks. Finally, I crouched down in disarray, hugging my knees, curled into a ball. Ethan Sheen didn't follow. I couldn't hold back, turning my tear-filled gaze. He had fallen, his whole body sprawled on the ground, frantically riding the wheelchair, struggling to climb back on. His expression was utterly wretched. Seeing me look back, he shrank back even more. His eyes reddened. "How could I dare return to you like this?" I froze for a few seconds, then laughed through my tears. Holding up my skirt, I stood and ran toward him. He crouched down. I asked him, "Are you admitting you're Sean Xia?" He stayed silent, quietly taking both my hands, pushing up the wide jade bracelet on his wrist. He saw the thin white scar on my left hand and grew furious. "How could you dare? I protected you for over 20 years. Never let you keep a single scar." I held his hand and whispered, "Exactly. Without Sean, Sophie Su gets hurt." He remained rigid for a long moment, then helplessly pressed my hand to his forehead. "The doctors said my legs have almost no chance of recovery. Sophie, I can never catch up to you again. Who said you need to chase me? I'll wait for you right here, and I'll turn back to find you. Just call for me, and I'll stop." The engagement party resumed. On the left poster, Ryan, Wen's name had been handwritten in. On the right poster, Ethan Sheen's name was handwritten in. One engaged couple suddenly vanished, while two new pairs appeared. The guests watched this drama unfold, falling silent for 3 seconds. Then, they resumed clinking glasses. All smiles again. Who cares who's getting engaged? As long as there's networking value. The reporters on site were the busiest, busy shifting the entertainment narrative. Once everything settled down, Sean Xia bit his thumb in the car, nervously scrolling through trending now comments the whole ride, frantically instructing the company's PR team to manage the Vrillon. The reputation you worked so hard to build, I can't let it be ruined because of me. Everyone said to wait until I have another surgery, at least until I can stand again, before getting engaged or married. But you wouldn't listen. This is putting the cart before the horse. I snatched his phone and tossed it aside. I pushed myself in acting, climbed to the top, just to show you I'm waiting for you. As long as I can act and be with you. My reputation means nothing to me. I burrowed into his arms. He went completely rigid, wanted to dodge. I lifted my chin, glaring at him unhappily. He froze again, not daring to move. He said stiffly, "Sophie, let me take you home for today." Me. I pulled away and looked out the window. Fine, I live on the 18th floor. The view from up there is spectacular. Sean Xia. He instructed the driver, head back to Azure Bay. He lives at Azure Bay. The place is huge, but feels cold and unlived. And as soon as we got home, he bid me good night, locked himself in his room and didn't come out. I clenched my fists and knocked on his door for 3 full minutes. Demanded, "Sean Xia, are you incapable or what?" Sean Xia played dead. We'd been together for 4 years, and he never once touched me. Only when I begged for a kiss would he indulge me, like a desert traveler briefly quenching his thirst. He said some things should wait until after marriage, but then there was no after. Now, we've been through life and death, faced the supernatural and the absurd. We're engaged now. Surely, we can't wait until marriage? I can't wait that long. Forget it. Today's pace has been too intense. I'll give him a few days to accept reality. I also have some matters to handle. That evening, I glanced at trending now. It exploded, just as expected. Enough already. You damn rich people. What exactly are you playing at? Giving netizens a dazzling spectacle? I have to admit, you've succeeded. It all balances out now. Can someone share the love story between Mr. Sheen and Sophie Sue? I get it. 3 years ago, Ethan Sheen faked his death in a car accident. Sophie thought he was really dead and was heartbroken. This year, Ethan woke up, unwilling to let go, and secretly competed with Mr. Gu for Sophie. Turns out Sophie never forgot him and just used Julian Gu as a substitute. Sounds pretty logical, right? Damn, now that you say it, it kinda makes sense. El Mayo, I've always admired netizens' storytelling skills. Wake up, people. Sophie's one that got away, who died young, was Sean Xia. Hello? What if Ethan Sheen used his mother's surname when he was an illegitimate son? Enough. The internet truly is a melting pot of rumors. Not a single word can be trusted. Reading on, I almost started believing the story they pieced together. I could only silently give a like to the netizen who said Ethan Sheen faked his death. Let them speculate. The next day, Sean Xia dropped me off at the company. He turned to leave immediately. I didn't try to stop him. Watching him walk halfway, then turn back. His eyes were dark and unreadable. Are you regretting it now? Huh, men, only he gets to act all profound. But I'm not allowed to play it cold. I puffed out my cheeks, ran over, and kissed his forehead. Pick me up at noon. Half the gloom in Sean Xia's eyes faded. He nodded obediently. Okay. I went straight to the CEO's office to ask Julian Gu for leave, pushing back all work and public appearances. Julian Gu waved his hand dismissively. It's all arranged. You should rest for a while. That saves me a lot of trouble. I didn't wait for Sean Xia to pick me up and drove myself to Sheen Industries. The whole internet knows I'm Ethan Sheen's fiancé, so the receptionist didn't dare stop me. She even kindly escorted me to the 18th floor and stopped outside the CEO's office. I raised my hand and knocked 3 times. Come in. Sean Xia's voice was calm and composed. Nothing like how he acts around me. I pushed the door open and leaned against it, watching him lower his head as he reviewed documents. I stayed silent for a long while. Sean frowned, looking up as he said impatiently, "What is it? Just report direct. How did you get here?" His brow instantly softened, his expression gentle. "Didn't we agree you'd wait for me to pick you up?" He set down his pen, about to come over to me. "Don't move." I stopped him, smiling. I stepped forward until I stood before him. I couldn't wait any longer. "I wanted to see you, so I came." "Darling, interested in a little office under the table arrangement?" Shancia's face flushed crimson in an instant. "Just wait for me a little longer." That wait stretched into a full month. Through our joint efforts, Shancia's leg regained some sensation. I couldn't hold back any longer. Tonight it rained, and Shancia's leg ached. I applied medicated oil and massaged it for him. He fell into a restless sleep, his brow tightly furrowed, whether from pain or nightmares. I couldn't tell. I returned to my room and changed into a silk slip nightgown. The mirror reflected my figure, the delicate nightgown tracing alluring curves. The V neck dipped just right. I paused, picked up the perfume from the vanity, and spritzed it twice on my wrists. The elegant scent of gardenia bloomed around me. This was my favorite floral fragrance. When Shancia first gave me flowers, he told me their meaning: perseverance, eternal devotion. He did it. I could never wait, so purely. I put down the perfume and climbed onto his bed, stirring up trouble. Shancia was so harassed he had to open his eyes, his gaze fixed on my collarbone, not daring to look further down. His Adam's apple bobbed. He turned away, his voice hoarse. "Sophie, what are you doing?" I leaned down and untied his pajama belt. "The little fish is ready to eat the big fish." The big fish twitched, as if dead, stiff. Shancia flushed red, his neck thick with tension. "Sophie, don't mess around. I'm afraid you'll have no way out." I mustered my courage and started the buffet. I don't need a way out. After 10 minutes of buffet, I was tired. I lay on top of Shancia, catching my breath. A pair of large hands crept to my waist, clamped tight, pressing down hard. Shancia bit my neck. He snarled, "Didn't I tell you not to provoke me? Getting tired already? You smell so good, Sophie. I really want to devour you whole." His legs had little strength, but his waist seemed wound like a spring. He kept me up half the night. I laughed and wrapped my arms around his neck, leaning close to his ear, whispering, "Well, does your leg not hurt anymore?" Shancia said nothing, only focused on working his core. Not an inch of my skin was left untouched. A year later, Shancia stood on his feet again. His steps were unsteady, but his kneeling was perfectly stable. After that, my private life became considerably more active, but with my heavy workload, it became a bit overwhelming. So, from him practicing abstinence, it became me practicing abstinence. I went to the mountains to film, staying for a full month. It made Shancia so anxious he even regained his ability to run. He ran all the way to the mountains to play out the forced love trope with me. This bastard, tearing my clothes while I'd asked me, "Do you regret it?" "You're not allowed to regret it. I won't leave. You can't shake me off." Neuro, diode, furious. I twisted his ear and gave it a full turn. "Can't you allocate your time and energy more reasonably?" Shancia selectively went deaf. He turned his head and bit my forearm, lost in the throes of making love, oblivious to the world around us. I kind of missed the Shancia from a year ago. Really. Later, I asked Ryan Wynn, "Is Julian Gu annoying?" Ryan Wynn, "Annoying as hell, like a stubborn plaster." I wholeheartedly agreed. Shancia too. "I kinda want a break. In every way." Ryan Wynn, "Let's go. I'll join you." Oh my god, is this what besties are for? Are we about to pull off a bestie runaway bride scenario? Sounds intriguing. I'm tempted.